Started. Hey guys, thanks for being here. This is the way I see it as a special meeting. To replace the scheduled monthly meeting. Am I correct there? Chief?
That is correct. So this is a special meeting replacing the regular scheduled meeting on the 14th.
There won't be one on the 14th.
There will not be one on the 14th. This is the meeting for this month. You can turn off.
Can't turn it off.
I can't turn it off. So could everybody speak up since we have a fan here going on today? Just if you speak, you have to speak up. So
Yeah, how about that?
That was great. Excellent.
All right, following the agenda. For the order now, public comment. Anybody have anything to say? Please do. Nope. You want to talk later, that's fine too. You don't mind. Approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of October the 10th. We were all here at that time.
Yes.
10?
No, I don't think Pat was.
Yeah, Pat, you were out. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you were here. You went to the airport.
That's right.
I move we accept the minutes as printed for October the 10th.
Okay, I'll, that. All in favor? Yep. Motion passed. Linda?
Ready?
Motion passed.
Yes, thank you.
Approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Okay, next set of minutes for the special meeting, October the 25th of this year, and that will be the budget workshop. Am I correct, Chief Webb?
That is correct, but we're not here.
I was not there, so I'll just ask you guys if you read it. Minutes. You ready to do a vote?
Yeah, well, make a motion to accept.
Okay. Second, Virginia. All in favor?
Aye.
2, 1 absent. Patty Marquette,
Yes,
all to you.
okay, financial report for November.
So you can speak up then.
Yes, we have November warrants that total $348,800.12. The total for payroll is $16,614.33. This includes Chief Carlton's salary of $5,000 and Assistant Chief Shields' pay of $2,958.33. There were 2 events for the commissioners and the secretary. The total payout for the volunteers, warrants included, was $9,033. And the October financial statements were in your meeting books for review. We need a motion to approve the warrants and payroll for November as presented. Also, November warrants include the invoice for the Darley, for the fire apparatus, and the sales tax also on top of that.
I have a question on the physio control.
Yeah.
What is that?
So the physio control is going to be the first half of the maintenance contract we have. So that's going to be that payment to physio control. And that the maintenance contract for all of our defibrillator fleet, AEDs, LifePak 15s, our Lucas device, all of that. I have to double check on Lucas, but all of our AEDs and LifePaks.
It was just the word control I was trying to figure out.
Yeah, physio control is the company Medtronics, Kitty Medtronics, but now it's a Stryker. They got bought out by Stryker.
Mr. Harper, any comments, questions?
No?
No. No more for you, Virginia? No questions?
I move we accept the payment of the warrants for $348,800.12 and a payroll of $16,614.33.
Second?
Second.
Yeah, are we all in favor?
Yes.
Good. Okay, Patty, continue if you don't mind.
Yes, and the budget update. The budget, 2018 budget, as of October 31st, 2018, there is 25.31% left in the budget compared to the same time last year of 23.44%.
Okay, a little bit ahead.
Yeah.
Good. So we have to keep in mind that does not, it gets skewed a little bit because of the purchase of the vehicle,
Correct.
only by 350,000.
Yeah, so that may look a little different next month. However, that is a capital purchase, so it won't necessarily skew these numbers because it actually goes into the capital side, so even though the funds are full this side.
Operationally speaking, we're well,
Yes.
so we'll do well.
That percentage equals about 143,000 left for about a month and a half of operational expenses.
Right, because this does not include no numbers.
Okay, Patty, thank you. Anything else from your end? No? Good. Chief correspondence,
Next report.
not to report. Chief's report, then we'll go right ahead.
Chief's report for November for the month of October. Point of information, we have a haunted house, and we seem to believe that it was probably the best haunted house we've had since the implementation of such back in 2013, 2014, I think, is when we did our, not 2013 probably, when we did our first one, maybe 2012. But we got overrun with little kids and adults and everything else, and all the treats were gone. It was a great day. So great day. Takes us about 8 hours worth of work, 6 hours to set it up, a couple hours to tear it down. Tear down is always faster, but I want to thank everybody that was involved and came by and enjoyed it this year. So hopefully we'll be able to get it out to more social media next year. And even have more people. November is Prostate Cancer Month. Just to remind everybody, we even have shirts for sale. They're November shirts that our Volunteer Firefighters Association develops. And if any of the public is interested in getting one, they're welcome to contact us. We also do shirts for Breast Cancer Month in October, and we have shirts for those too. The contract was finalized with WS Darley for the mini pumper. That is, we're working on dates right now to meet with the representative from WS Darley with the new truck down in Skagit 5, which is Fire District 5 down in Skagit County. They're going to house it for us for a couple days so we can go down there and actually take a look at it, go through the acceptance process, mark down anything that needs to be fixed if anything is found, and then accept it and most likely drive it home. So hopefully that goes well. Engine 58 was serviced in the month of October. Engine 5802 was also, went into November, so that'll be reported next month. We have 46 members, 27 Canadian, 11 Point Roberts, 9 County, 4 paramedics, 15 EMTs, of which 9 are advanced EMTs. We have 3 ambassadors, 39 firefighters. On staff volunteer hours for the month of October, 2,262. Volunteer payroll was 11,024. Combined chief hours, I worked 195.5. Assistant Chief Shields 147.25 for a total of 342.75. Incidents, we had 22 calls in the month of October, 17 were EMS calls. We had 4 transports to St. Joseph's Hospital. There was 3 no transports. Those EMS calls included 10 CARES program or community paramedic calls, and then we had 1 agency assist. We had 4 classifications within the fires. We had 3 permitted outdoor burns, and we had 1 public service, which was underneath the smoke detectors program. That concludes my chief's report for the month of October.
Any questions? Pat?
No questions.
Can I, you contracted with WS Darley Is this a used vehicle you're buying, or?
It's a demo.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to clarify that, because it says contracted with them on
The contract was finalized for the demo
to
purchase.
purchase a demo.
Yeah,
What was the year of construction?
it's a 2018.
Thank you.
The market called it demo.
2018 version F550 Super Duty. And by the time we receive it, most likely we'll have around 5,000 miles on it. So somewhere in there.
Brand new.
Well, for a diesel. For the diesel engine it is.
Well,
Yes.
anything else? Questions? Okay. Operational budget, chief.
So to continue, today is the approval or disapproval of the 2019 operational budget. We have incorporated 2 resolutions that I'll bring up on the big screen so they can be captured by the camera as well. And those 2 resolutions, the first one incorporates the 1% that we are allowed to take by law, which equals in reality at 0.9669. Theoretically 1%. And that equals $5,771.75 of an increase that we put into the 2019 budget from the 2018 budget. That resolution is resolution 2018-04, and then resolution 2018-05 is the resolution accepting the entire levy at the amount of $602,697.04. Which includes the 1% increase. Is that correct, Patty?
Excellent. Yes.
Can I have the numbers again for those?
So 2018-04 is accepting the 1% increase,
Okay.
if you so choose to do that. 2018-05 is the resolution that covers the entirety of the levy, including the 1% increase. Now, if this commission decides not to take the 1% increase, then those documents will have to be quickly changed to show that. So I'd like to go over, with your permission, the 2019 budget, which I have up on the camera on the big screen right now. And there was a change. The new number, so in the budget meeting we had a remainder reserve capacity of 48,000. We made some updates, which I'll go over to the budget. We expanded a division due to some things that came up between the budget workshop and now. And now the projected reserve capacity is going to be $40,998.04. Could you hit the front lights? That's not showing up very well. Please.
Chief, are you changing one, basically one budget item?
The changes really happen in one division,
Okay.
so, and we'll go over those. So to explain this to the general public, the 1% levy increase equals that 0.96691 there. It amounts to $5,771.75. 2000 plus the 2018 levy, which is $596,925.29. Gives us a total 2019 year budget of $602,697.04. Other revenue that's projected, that includes hospital district rent and burn permits, those types of things, is $21,800. That gives us a total operating projected budget of $624,497, of which $583,499 are actually my divisional expenses projected for 2019. So that gives us a difference of $40,998 projected to go into reserve capacity from the budget itself. And then we have other things that come up during the year too. One of those things is down here is the uncollected taxes because people, there's some people that are always behind. They'll get notice that their property is actually going up for sale and they'll pay the taxes that day to keep their property. They'll wait until the last, very, very last time frame that they have to pay their property taxes. So that money is not calculated into this. Do you have any idea, Patty, what that averages out to be?
do not at this point, but I can let you know at the beginning of the year, probably about the January meeting, I'll have the carryover from the previous year, and that'll gauge what carryover from 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
But our budget, once this budget is set, it does not change. So even if we get additional taxes that are back taxes, that goes into capital reserves under the permission of the commissioners. And that is not added to this in any way or anything like that, is that correct?
It goes into the regular expense account, just
Right.
as the 2019 taxes will.
Right.
But you're correct in that it is not added into that because there's no way of estimating or gauging if we will get that.
Right. So, for example, for the public's purposes, if we get $40,000 of the back taxes, and that's just a number, I'm not saying we're getting that, but we get $40,000 of back taxes that come in the beginning of 2019, that goes into our general fund, and then that can be dispersed out into our capital reserves if necessary. But sometimes it just stays in that, you report that to the commissioners. But I don't take that $40,000 and add it to my divisional expenses.
Correct.
This budget is set. So I just want everybody to understand that, so there's no miscommunication there. Does anybody have any questions on this before I go to the next page? So this budget, this number here, that happened on the first one too, Kylie. It didn't update. That number, the 21,800, should actually be the entirety of the budget. That should read 624,497.04. That's just one of the Excel computer things in there. Because that adds up from the top, adds these into it, which equals the 596.24 down here. So the 21.8, just know that that's 624,497.04. Just so we started out the right number there. So nothing has changed in the legislative division. That has remained the same from the budget meeting. Nothing has changed in the administrative division either. That is staying the same. And suppression division is where we have the changes. So the first change is in the volunteer firefighter suppression. At the budget meeting, we had 75,000. We increased that to 77,000 by a sum of $2,000, just for projected increases that we're going to have in 2019. The wellness program, we're behind on that, so continue the yoga that we have coming in for firefighter benefit and the CrossFit training as well. We increased that number from 6,500 to 7,500, so that was a net increase of 1,000.
So it's 5,500.
Yeah.
5,500 in the budget workshop showed 6,500,
Okay.
so we increased it to 7,500. Marketplace here, 7,500, we increased that by 1,000 to 8,500 to be more in line with the expenses throughout the year and all the special events that we have, that we buy stuff for, like the open house, those types of things as well. Going down to hose, repair and maintenance and supplies. Line item 5234. That went from $3,000 to $4,000. We increased that by 1,000. The projected cost of buying new hose for the new pumper, the mini pumper, was added in there to express that coming up. Engine 5802 had the largest increase, and that's item number 5267. And that increase was by $3,000. And The reason why that's a big red, so that's our large engine out there. Next year, we're going to have to replace the tires. And that's 8 tires on that, so that's roughly between $3,000 and $4,000 to replace those tires. So that's something that we just talked about and noticed that we're going to have to do for that engine. Remember that engine 5801 is the new pumper. That's a new divisional line item that got added for 2019 because we didn't have it in 2018. So repair and maintenance work is $1,500 slotted for that. So the new total underneath the suppression division is $158,950 with those changes. Suppression training system, the blue card command system, which is now our credentialing for our command officers. It's between a 50, it ends up being around an 80-hour course. And it teaches hazard zone management, and that is underneath the incident command system. So it's approved through IFSAC, International Fire Service Accreditation Council, and also NIOSH and NIST. They view Blue Card as being the system in place to avert any type of line of duty deaths at this point. Last year, we were able to get a grant from a private citizen for the Blue Card training. A grant was provided to us through a foundation of $4,000. I'm hoping, speaking with this individual, I'm hoping that they continue providing us that grant in order to continue running that program, and then that $3,000 can go back into either capital reserve at the end of the year or into another division if necessary. But I want to thank that individual publicly, which I've done personally many, many times. So nothing else changed in the suppression division. The maintenance division has no changes. The EMS division has no changes. And the EMS training division has no changes. The change in totals with all of those added together came to $10,500 increase through those items I just discussed, bringing our total operational divisional budget to $583,499. So I'll take any, can you turn the lights on, please, John? I'd like to take any questions that you may have at this point.
If the blue card system doesn't get a grant,
Correct.
do you plan to continue with it?
Absolutely.
Okay.
It is now our credentialing.
Yeah.
We are the only district in Whatcom County that's using that standard. But there's probably 24 or more organizations throughout the Puget Sound area, including Olympia Fire and some other major fire departments that are utilizing this for hazard zone management purposes. Blue Card has been actually presented in some line of duty deaths that have happened, and those organizations have not had a hazard zone management system in place or a good structure for ICS, which led to some line of duty deaths. So they recommend, that's one of the first things NIOSH does when they come in. They look at your incident command system and the system you have in place for tracking personnel on scene and utilizing people. And right now, it's bad to say, but a lot of systems, they lose people on scene all the time and they don't track them well. Where this system allows us, through our teachings, to keep track of 100% of our personnel at all times.
Do the other organizations have a system at all?
We use ITAC. I can tell you, I'm sorry, I do not remember what ITAC. Do you know what
Incident Tactical Accountability System.
Okay, so incident tactical accountability system of some sort. It's ITAC, so we might be wrong on the C there. The Seattle area has really gone away from ITAC, and they're developing other IC command structures down in those locations. But Snohomish County Fire District 1, which is now South Snohomish, they run under Blue Card as well. Again, I went to Phoenix for a week to get my credentialing in Blue Card and to bring it back to this organization. So I couldn't be happier with it. I do not believe that this county, due to some politics, would look at Blue Card at this point because there's a lot more cross-border responses happening down in Main County. And so you have North Whatcom working with Ferndale, let's say. Both agencies would have to be trained on that Blue Card standard in order to operate effectively on scene. And right now they're operating underneath the Whatcom County Operations Manual, which we also use to a degree here, but we have different hose loads and stuff like that because it makes us more efficient here than what's offered in that manual. And we don't have mutual aid really from Whatcom County. We have it in Canada. So North Vancouver, there's a half a dozen departments on the lower mainland that are now moving towards Blue Card. Vancouver Fire is looking towards Blue Card command systems as well. But we have 8 of my command officers are trained and certified Blue Card at this point.
How does this compare with the cost of the other programs that are?
Well, to be honest with you, this program is vetted through college. We get ACE accredited with this, so we get college credit and everything else through this program that can be used in that fashion. But to be honest with you, I don't know of another credentialed program that's offered in the nation. So right now, I believe there's around 2,700 departments in this nation that utilize the Blue Card Foundation to operate incident command. And as part of its command, it's a hazard zone. It's not a strategies using tactics class, even though it covers a lot of the studies that are currently out there within science of what we do. But we don't credential our people. I decided to credential my command structure because that's the safest thing I can do for the firefighters and the public. So in general, it's like you get handed a manual and you go read this. Right, good luck. That's not the Blue Card system. Okay, you have to take tests throughout the Blue Card training and validate what you learn. So that's why I'm using it.
The Blue Card system is geared toward the structural side of firefighting.
Sure, it's residential, commercial.
Red Card is one.
Red Card is one. That is correct. Blue Card is starting to now go towards hazardous materials incident commander credentialing or certification. So I'll be acquiring that in 2019 along with my other command officers. And it's starting to guide us towards EMS, like MCIs, multi-casualty incidents, vehicles, numerous vehicles, bus rollovers, those types of things to handle the resources coming into the scene. So it's a resource allocation type of management system. And that's the hardest thing we do, is trying to figure out what needs to be done and delegating those tasks. Sure.
Steve, you want to talk about, when you talked already about the pollution plan?
Yeah, I can bring up the resolutions.
Put them on the board here.
Yeah, I can bring those up. So this is resolution number 2018-04. John, are you able to see that okay?
I can now.
Through that?
Yep.
Would you like me to read it real quick? And everybody pretty good? You want me to read it or is it okay? Okay. And again, 2018-04 covers the 1% increase. 2018-05 encompasses the increase into the entirety of the approved budget, which equals to $602,697.04. Oh, added. On this one, it says regular.
So on what you pulled up, it said regular meeting, that's what we tried to change earlier. The copies that I have for you to sign say special, open public meeting.
So just know that down here for the public as well that's watching this, is that this says special meeting.
Yeah.
This says special meeting down here
So these ones.
on the legal documents that the commissioners will be signing.
For some reason, that was
It says special because it's not the regular meeting.
correct.
So,
We have to follow it up, right?
yeah, just to confirm, so if you have any questions on that or the public that's watching, this is, the only language that has changed is this down here and it'll say special meeting. Anything else I need to cover in that? Is there any discussion that the commissioners would like to have on the budget? About the changes that were made?
How about you, Brad?
No,
Okay. Can I have a resolution to make two separate resolutions motions are to approve the two resolutions? Could you show name and by number?
yes, I approve 2018-04 and 2018-05.
Okay. Virginia? Second. All in favor? Aye. And no opposed, and no discussion anymore, no questions? Okay, this passed. Two motions, Linda.
I have
We have two different motions.
two motions, yeah.
Good, that was that then? Any new business?
Sorry.
You got something else?
Yeah. Sorry. I want to discuss policies and procedures. I'm looking at the company. I've been looking at it for about 6 months and discussing it with our insurance company as well. But when it comes to policies and procedures and guidelines, aka guidelines, I'm looking into possibly going with a company called Lexipol. District 7 is now going on board with Lexipol as well.
What do they do?
They write policies and procedures that are up to date with current statutes in the state of Washington and all the laws. And if any changes come to bear, they send me those and they update their policies. All of this can be checks and balances for the organization. The reason why is because I have to validate that all of my members are reading the policies and guidelines and procedures, aka procedures within the organization. And I can timestamp those through this program. And any updates, I can send those out. They'll read it, they'll sign it, it'll be timestamped as well when they read the update. So these, it goes from everything that you can think of. There's 165 policies within this company, Lexipol. I necessarily won't use all of those policies because some of them will not correspond to an organization our size or as a volunteer organization. And then there's 25 procedural documents that they have in the most common calls that we run on. Not just calls, but like child abuse, reporting for child abuse. We have a mandatory obligation to report child abuse and elderly abuse as well. So everything from house fires, MVAs, marina fires, everything like that. To have these written down in a document that's been vetted legally. Now, I've spoken to our legal counsel as well. He does have organizations underneath him that currently use Lexipol. I can't just ask somebody for Lexipol documents because they're copyrighted. Of course.
Sounds-
So, it'd be really nice and easy if I could just, thanks for the manual and make it our own, but we can't do that. That cost is going to equate to $2,600 for the initial year. And that is 0.5% of, equates to 0.5% of our budget. And I'm still fighting with that cost. That's what the discount that our insurance company gives us. They give us a 6% discount. If I only wanted to go with the policy manual with HIPAA, sexual harassment, all of those types of policies through this, that again, they do multiple states around the country, but they have a team here in Washington of lawyers and internalists that follow what the House bills are doing and things like that, and they update all of these policies immediately when something new gets passed. So it's unlikely that we would be behind with any updates because if a policy is 5 years old, how many updates have been in between there? I don't have the know-how to go out and find those updates, nor do we have the finances to pay a legal counsel to go out and research that on every single policy that needs to be updated. So I'm still going back and forth on this. I think for liability purposes, it's critical to have an extremely strong policy and procedure manual in place that we can go back to, that we can validate people understand, that they've read. So if issues come up in the future, we can hold them to that policy. We can hold them to those guidelines and procedures.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I haven't made a decision on that yet. If you would like, any of the three of you would like to discuss that. But again, if anything comes down the pipe, the first thing legal teams do is, where's the policy in place? Or where's the guideline or procedure that they're supposed to follow for this type of incident? And I'll tell you that internally, we have, especially in our operational guidelines for structure fires, arena fires, things like that, we have those in place, but they're not as strong as they could be. And I would like to see, again, if this company would be able to make us better in that. And if we become better in that, then we become better for the community as well, through an organizational standpoint. So I just wanted to bring that up in the business. It's something I'm looking into at this point.
Chief, I got a question. I'm talking kind of tongue in cheek here, but that company cannot and will never be able to guarantee you, me, or the other commissioners here that personnel actually read the policy manual or items thereof, parts thereof, and then all. That would be an impossibility, right?
Actually, they can guarantee it. That's one thing that they can guarantee because,
How can they guarantee that?
well, it's internally tracked. So I can see who's read it and who hasn't, and then reach out to that individual and tell them to read it.
I'd like to know how you can track what somebody reads.
I understand what you're saying is that if they look at a piece of it, if they look at the sheet and they go to the bottom and just click, I reviewed it. Well, they're responsible for that review. I mean, there's no way that we can ever guarantee someone has read an entire book. Right? You buy a book off the shelf and you say you read it. Well, did you read everything exactly in the book? I mentioned a couple books that people probably would really read, but I'm not going to mention those books here at this meeting. So there's really no guarantee other than that they've clicked the link saying that they have reviewed the changes or the policy in place. So therefore, we will hold them to understanding that policy or procedure.
All right, Chief, I totally accept you go a little more into this, and I think it may be worthwhile, but I do understand from this conversation that we have a guarantee with no guarantee.
Pretty much.
I understand that too.
Yeah, and that's a good way to put it. It validates because they hit the link, but you can't go back and say that the person read every single word within that policy or procedure.
No, there's no limitation.
Well, and there are quizzes, so every month there's 10 quizzes, so this is all part, and I can go into more detail maybe next meeting, but, or sometime in the future, that there's quizzes, there's other things that are part of this program that validate memory and are a continuous process. It's just not a one-time fits all. They continuously evaluate you every month, every quarter. You're evaluated on policies and procedures and guidelines that are currently set. Patty, do you have anything else to do further on that, since Mr. Seven is looking at it as well?
No, but it was just approved in our last meeting to go forward in getting the program. However, I must say, I was unaware that it was that in depth, the tracking part of that.
Yeah.
So, and I agree, once one clicks in,
So it's public information. Could you tell us what it costs District 7?
it was, I would say, yeah, it was,
It's public information.
I know, I just don't remember the
Oh,
exact dollar amount. It was considerably more.
No. It's based off of career staff members.
Yes, I wanted to
So-
say it was 3 times the amount that you were paying, but I.
Oh, at least.
Double check.
Because,
It was a substantial, it was under 10, I believe, I apologize.
so we're at the lowest cost level because
Exactly.
we have one career person, and that's myself. I'm classified as a career fire chief, full-time fire chief career. And that gives us a 0.1 valuation. So they give us a 0.1 valuation, which is the lowest valuation towards one career person. Okay, so let's say 1 is a career person, 0.1 is a volunteer off of that number 1. Does that make sense for everybody? So they took 0.1 times 36 firefighters is what we have, which gave us, I think, between 1 and 5 career personnel is what it equaled out to be with that calculation. So it gave us with 36 volunteers that'll be working underneath it, or 40 some volunteers. We're like between 1 and 5 career personnel. Then there's 5 to 10 or 5 to 20 and 20 to 30. So they classify it off of career personnel, and the cost keeps going up. So we're at the lowest cost possible.
I would hope so.
At this point, but
Yeah.
But the fact is that we expect certain things out of the people who are performing these duties. And if they haven't read this and do not perform it correctly,
yes,
that is a legal issue.
it is.
And having that made mandatory seems most logical to me. In my background, that's what you do.
I contacted ESIP, McNeil and Company, and they have 24 policies that they would like us to have in place as an agency. They send us a mock policy, generic policy on those that we can implement into the organization if we want to. This company is 165 policies. Ranging from everything from A to Z that you can think of that's federally bound by agencies to follow, that's state bound by agencies to follow. This goes down to the 2 and 2 out rule. 2 firefighters outside, 2 firefighters inside to go and have an interior attack into a structure. L&I just came down on an agency in Washington State that actually had a rescue. They actually rescued a person out of the structure. But they got a fine from L&I because they weren't necessarily following the 2 and 2 out rule. And in a rescue situation, if I show up by myself and somebody's inside the house, I'm going by myself. I'm going to do everything I possibly can to rescue, regardless of a penny fine from L&I. That's my job. I'm going in and I'll do my best to rescue whoever needs that. I'm not waiting while the person burns up inside or succumbs to smoke. And that's what these firefighters did on the east side, I believe. Do you remember where that was, John? Anyway, it was an article that got published out. I think there's a misinterpretation of the 2 and 2 out rule, and that needs to be straightened out at the state level. And the Washington Fire Chiefs Association is working on that at this point. But I believe that our protection, the protection of our command officers and the firefighters, to have the direction through better policies and guidelines and procedures is the simplest thing that we can do for them to make them as good as possible. So again, I'm not fully vetted yet. but I know I'll be using it down at District 7, and District 7 is not the reason why I've chosen to do this, because I think we have an okay foundation in some of the things that we have in policies and guidelines that cover major things, but I believe we have holes as well. So I would like to continue looking at that and most likely make the decision before the end of the year.
Well, look at it some more, see if you can find any holes. Do everything necessary, we can do it. Go for it.
The setup will take the longest. It'll be 10 to 20 hours of time that I'll be spending with my mentor, setting up the program, getting things installed, because I have to go through every single policy they have and make it our own and decide what policies are effective for the organization or correspond with what we need, and policies that are not corresponding to this agency.
If you gave us the initial cost, that cost is all cost the next year, right?
It's the same.
Same?
So this is a ongoing cost.
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? No? Maybe? No?
Happy Thanksgiving for those that celebrate Thanksgiving.
Okay, Matt, you were at the beginning, any point?
Yeah, just curious, any updates on the marina situation? You talked about that a few months ago.
So the marina situation, we, in April of this year, John, please correct me if I'm wrong or add in stuff. In April of this last year, because really a lot of things happened at the end of 2017 within the standpipes being placed. And in April, we went out and tested the standpipes, and we had, I think all of them failed except one. A number of things caused that. One thing is that they were utilized in training and they weren't blown out. Come wintertime, and a lot of the fittings froze and everything else. They have incompatible metals as well on the standpipe system. So we trained someone in the summer. We've written down a lot of things. That has a whole list of, what do you call them?
Deficiencies.
Deficiencies have been sent down to the fire marshal's office, which will be sent to codes for enforcement on those systems. John, what do you have to add in?
No, the basic, I think we didn't do any of the training. It was when they did the initial, I believe the initial pressure testing, the people that installed them didn't bother to blow them
Yeah,
up.
because we didn't train on all the ducts. We trained on a few this last summer,
Right.
but we didn't train on all of them. Not having an issue with having a drain put into the system. We've had a lot of thievery, theft on our gate valves and the brass housings and things like that. They're good bookends. People put them on their boats because nobody can, technically, yes they can walk around the gate or climb up the gang, well, is it the gang walk?
Yeah.
Gang plank. And so I guess they can't get on boats and steal, but we've had a lot of theft. We've had whole Y systems missing. Y systems turned around facing the boat to where we can't even access them to put our hoses on. So at this point, we decided not to use any of the standpipe systems available to us and go back to what we were doing prior to that. And that is laying anywhere from 300 to 500 feet of hose down the docks. The thing that I liked about the standpipe system is that it will probably reduce our suppression attack by 7 minutes on average, because we time ourselves when we have 10 people here, but when we only have 3 or 4 people show up at 2 a.m. on a boat fire to lay 500 feet of 3-inch. That's a lot of work for that few of people. So our suppression time is going to be extended now because of the failures that we've seen in the standpipe system thus far.
You had mentioned there's a change in management with the new manager and with Wayne Knowles not being there
Yes.
anymore, to talk to them to see if they would be moving on.
Yes, and we did have a meeting with the new manager, Co, and she was very receptive of our concerns and very willing to go to the owners and see what we're going to do. I think some of that may come down from the codes enforcement from Whatcom County to help spur the new owners or the owners to correct the deficiencies in the system now so we can go back using them. The only dock that may be of value to us right now is T-Dock, because it's brand new in that system, and that's a system we somewhat 50% trust at this point, but every other dock is out of commission for us at this point. So the new management over there has been very welcoming, very workable with us, understandable in regards to the deficiencies, and they're taking it seriously.
Good thing. Thanks, Bill.
Can the owners of the dock or the marina back charge these people, make everything up what it should be?
John, do you have anything on that?
At this point, the gentleman who installed them is actually being sued by 4 other marinas at this time for deficiencies in his work.
That was modified out, I believe.
So they're not even going to contact him to do anything with it. They're looking at another.
Yeah, we've been told that contractor most likely will not come to do any more.
So they've been in contact with the company that actually does the stamp pipes at Bellingham Marina. So he's supposed to be coming up to look at the system chair now.
We don't have anything reported missing from T-Dock at this point.
No.
You know, you did want to mention to present management that it's probably because there is a very visible livermore living on T-Dock on his boat. Livermores are good for marina.
Oh, absolutely, I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, you-
They make it safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've asked, you know, we had a fire on Q-Dock, it was in the battery compartment, and it had high potential. The interesting thing was there was a couple staying next to that boat, and they smelled the smoke and called us. This was at 2 a.m., probably 2 o'clock in the morning. We had 6 people turn out for that boat fire, and we were able to overhaul it, do any further suppression that needed to be done prior to leaving that. But we've had a couple of very close calls, and it's just a matter of time. It's not when, it's not if, it's when, right? And we can probably be guaranteed if we're called late on it that we're going to lose 3 boats at a minimum, both adjacent boats. And if we have northeastern come through and the winds are blowing, then that's going to pose even further problems with this, with the flying debris and everything else, contacting other boats on other docks. So we want people to enjoy the marina. I strongly support the marina. I would like to see it become a huge success, as well as the golf course and other things for people to have full-time year-round jobs, you know, here. But we also have to have the systems in place that help us do our job at the highest efficiency. And that's what we're asking for.
Well, that's these contractors hired to do the work,
The marina management would hire these contractors.
so they are responsible to do the background checks on and make sure they're.
If that's being done, I'm not sure what the contract entails,
Mhm.
and the type of background checks they do on those. I don't know, Pat, do you know anything about it? The contractors for the marina that they would hire or anything. So that's up to those that hire, just like us, when we hire a contractor, it's our job to make sure that their insurance is up to date before they start any work here, and that they don't have a background, criminality, and those types of things.
Yeah, right, okay. Anything else, Chief? Nothing?
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
I will adjourn.
Yeah.
Second motion.
Second motion, we're done.